Thank you, Johnny. Hi, folks, and welcome.
This is Jeopardy!
Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone.
This is Jeopardy! Here is today's contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. And we have one daily double awaiting you in these categories. Meet the Robinsons. In the bookstore. Word Up. The Animal Kingdom. Let's Celebrate. And recently discovered presidential ads. All right, let's get back into this. Player one has control of the board. The patron saint of lovers is honored on this annual holiday. Yes, player one. Use the Wii remote or press the corresponding direction. That's correct. Player one, you pick again, please. Former U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson founded this annual observance devoted to the environment. Let's hear it, player one. Good for you. You again, player one. Meaning a coming, it's the period before Christmas that begins on the Sunday nearest to November 30th. It's player one. Sorry. Here's the correct response. Advent. We return to you, player one. Collecting money for UNICEF on this holiday was begun in 1950 by a Philadelphia Sunday school class. Here's what we were looking for. Halloween. Player one, pick again. Customs on this 121st day of the year include dancing around a pole and giving baskets to friends and family. Player one. No. The correct response is May Day. Please pick again, player one. The Hirola is also known as the four-eyed species of this African ungulate. Here's the correct response. The antelope. Choose again, player one. This large prickly rodent gets its name from the French for spined pig. Yes, player one. That's it. Select again. The hermit type of this animal can twist its abdomen to one side so it tucks neatly into its home. Player one? Yes, good. Back on the plus side. You get to pick again, player one. The eyes of these croaking critters usually bulge, but they retract and push down on the mouth to help in swallowing. Let's hear it, player one. Correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The Norway type of this infuriating rodent actually originated in Asia. It's player one. That's not it. Here's the response we were looking for. The rat. You again, player one. From the Latin for kidnapper, it means to take someone else's ideas or writings and pass them off as your own. Okay, player one. That is correct. Select again. It's one of the bones of the forearm, or a line from the center of a circle to the circumference. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry. Here's what we wanted. The radius. Player 1, pick again. This word can mean a hole or any hollow place, especially in a tooth. Okay, Player 1. Yes. Choose again, Player 1. It's what we call a word that has the same meaning as another word. Yes, Player 1. You got it. Please pick again, Player 1. Change your attitude, or rather one letter in attitude, to get this word meaning height. It's Player 1. That is correct. We return to you, Player 1. Appropriately, Part 3 of this 1953 novel is Burning Bright. Player 1? Yes. You get to pick again, Player 1. In a Stephen King book, writer Paul Sheldon is weary of this title heroine he created. Here's the correct response. Misery. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. The Devil in the White City examines murder, magic, and madness at the 1893 World's Fair in this U.S. city. Here's the correct response. Chicago. Player 1, back to you. John Grisham switched gears with Skipping This Holiday, about a couple who want to skip the consumerism. It's Player 1. Right you are. Player 1, you pick again, please. The Teammates by David Halberstam chronicles the friendships of Ted Williams and others on this team. We're talking about the Boston Red Sox. You again, Player 1. Emmanuel Goldenberg was the real name of the Robinson who used this first name on the stage. Here's what we were looking for. Edward. Player 1, you pick again, please. In 1951, he defeated Jake LaMotta to become middleweight boxing champ. The correct response is Sugar Ray Robinson. Choose again, Player 1. Yeah! It's the Daily Double. And you're in the lead now. What'll it be? Here is your Daily Double clue. This Motown legend co-wrote My Girl and Tears of a Clown. No, sorry. Here's what we wanted. Smokey Robinson. We return to you, Player 1. Like a famous mister of song, it was the nickname of tap dancer Bill Robinson. Here's the response we were looking for. Bojangles. Select again. In 1947, he shattered baseball's color line. Yes, Player 1. Yeah! Right. Player 1, pick again. Alex Hamilton wants him to be president. Them's fighting words. I'm Aaron Burr, and I approve this message. Here's what we wanted. Thomas Jefferson. Please pick again, Player 1. You elect him? I say in 7 months the economy will be in shambles. I'm Al Smith, and I approve this message. The correct response is Herbert Hoover. You get to pick again, Player 1. In 1814, this general had a pirate, Jean Lafitte, help him in New Orleans. What's next? I'm John Quincy Adams, and I approve this message. Here's what we were looking for. Andrew Jackson. Player 1, back to you. So what if he's the first West Point grad president? Some say he drinks. You decide. I'm Horace Greeley, and I approve this message. We're talking about Ulysses S. Grant. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. He said a nation half slave and half free can't exist. I say he's wrong. I'm Stephen Douglas, and I approve this message. Okay, Player 1. That's correct. The Double Jeopardy round will begin right after this. And we have 2 daily doubles awaiting you in these categories. Playing Possum. The Old Testament. Ancient History, 2006. Word Origins. Drink It, Dance It, or Drive It. And Sports Illustrated Magic Numbers. Let's get back into this now. You have control of the board. The flying possum doesn't fly. Well-developed flaps of skin along its flanks have it known by this 6-letter term. Let's hear it, player one. That's right. Way to go. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Answer. The first of the 2 daily doubles. You are in first place. What are you going to wager? And the daily double clue. Deuteronomy may mean second law, but it's this number book of the Old Testament. Good. Choose again, player one. He led the French team to the finals of soccer's World Cup, only to be ejected after headbutting an Italian player. Here's the response we were looking for. Zinedine Zidane. You get to pick again, player one. This term for a leading character of a literary work comes from the Greek for first combatant. Player one? Right. Player one, pick again. Wapala. Here's the correct response. Drink it. Player one, you pick again, please. Football. 63 yards. Here's the correct response. Tom Dempsey. Player one, back to you for our next selection. Track and field, 29 feet, 2.5 inches. Here's what we were looking for. Bob Beamon. We return to you, player one.
Woo!
Answer. The second daily double. You are in the lead right now. Please enter your wager. Okay, here is the clue. Trabant. Oh, sorry. Here's what we wanted. Drive it. Please pick again, player one. This highest natural singing voice for women is Italian for what is above. Yes, player one. Nope. Sorry. Here's the correct response. Soprano. Select again. This famous American passed away the day after Christmas at the age of 93. Here's the response we were looking for. Gerald Ford. Player one, back to you. According to the Bible, she was not only Abraham's wife, she was also his half-sister. Let's hear it, player one. Good. You again, player one. Australia and New Guinea are home to the 5 species of this type of possum that may weigh as little as 1/4 of an ounce. Here's the correct response. The pygmy possum. Select again. Stick to it. In 1948, this Walt Kelly possum hit the funny pages. The correct response is pogo. Choose again, player one. In Samuel 28, the prophet Samuel appears to King Saul and predicts his defeat by this group. Player one? Yep. You again, player one. In November, an Andy Warhol work depicting this Asian leader sold for more than $17 million. Okay, player one. No. We're talking about Mao Zedong. Player one, you pick again, please. This word for a kind of land mass comes from a word meaning to contain. It's player one. Right. Player 1, pick again. Kirsch. Player 1, you are correct. We return to you, Player 1. Baseball, 2,131 consecutive games. Here's the response we were looking for. Cal Ripken. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Hockey, 92 goals. Here's what we wanted. Wayne Gretzky. You get to pick again, Player 1. Hambo. Okay, Player 1. Yeah, good. Player 1, back to you. This wood-eating insect gets its name from the Latin for wood-eating worm. It's Player 1. Yeah! Hey, you're right. Please pick again, Player 1. Discovery and this legendary space shuttle went aloft. Yes, Player 1. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. Atlantis. We return to you, Player 1. Jacob and this other twin son of Rebecca even struggled against each other in their mother's womb. Let's hear it, Player 1. Right. You get to pick again, Player 1. Chuck Berry knows this sweet little number of days is the typical gestation period of a possum. We're talking about 16. You again, Player 1. Like wombats and bandicoots, possums are members of this group of about 270 species. It's Player 1. No, that's not right. Here's the correct response. Marsupials. Player 1, pick again. This book says Noah's Ark was 300 cubits in length, making it about 500 feet long. Let's hear it, Player 1. Yes. Player 1, back to you. In February, he shot Harry Whittington, not his intended target. The correct response is Dick Cheney. Please pick again, Player 1. This ground meat sandwich gets its name from a German port city. Player 1? That is correct. Player 1, back to you for our next selection. Cabriolet. Yes, Player 1. Yeah, good. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. Baseball, 4,192 hits. Okay, Player 1. Nope. Here's what we were looking for. Pete Rose. You are moving on to Final Jeopardy, which will continue after these messages. So much depends on how you do in the Final Jeopardy category, which today is 19th century authors. What are you going to wager? Each direction on the plus control pad represents a different response. Press a direction to select an answer. And the last clue? In 1833, a French historian said that this author had built a cathedral as solid as the foundations of the other one. What did you put as your response? With that correct response, you will gain This makes you our new champion, Player 1. So congratulations. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.